Welcome to the Creative Crafters podcast. My name is Tika and I'm from Bette's Makes. And today on the podcast, we have Bette Daoust. Bette Daoust is a former business professor who started her blog in 2017. She knows a lot about crafting. She's been crafting since she was very young. She was turned on to Cricut Design Space about 5 years ago. And her goal is to teach techniques using Design Space to make your crafting journeys easy. Her favorite thing to do each day is to make something new to beautify her surroundings. All of her creations are either physical ones, such as wreaths, crochet, paper crafts, etc. And she's in favor of making do with the supplies at hand with minimal expense. This means recycle and reuse and what you were able to do. Hi, Bette, and welcome.
Well, thank you. It's so much fun to be on the podcast when I'm usually doing the interview, and finally I'm being interviewed. So thank you for doing this, Tika.
Yeah, no problem. So, let's start off by telling the listeners about who you are and all about your company.
Well, my name is Bette. I do have a PhD, and it's in computing science and engineering, which has nothing to do with crafting, except the fact that when I was very young, I got into crafting, going to camps for Girl Guides or Girl Scouts and working my way through. And then with two wonderful daughters, we did a lot of crafting as they were growing up as well. So we got really into crafting then. And then I went into the tech world with my education and ended up as a university professor at the end. I even worked for Cisco Systems in Silicon Valley doing training and teaching. So that experience really helped. But when it came time to going back to a university to become a professor, after a couple of years, I decided I needed to do something for myself and my family. And that is when my daughter, Karina, that's Tika. Tika is my daughter. Decided, we could sell craft supplies. That was around 2017. So we did that for a couple of years and decided shipping and all of that part that goes with it, creating your own kits and working with it through there, that was a lot of work. So we turned to looking at doing a blog. And in 2020, we decided to start our crafting blog. So when we started into the blog, it was a lot of fun. We were doing a project a day for, I don't know, is it 30 or 40 days? And we started doing that and decided that we love creating things. And then we discovered a Cricut that could actually help us with the cutting part of it and the scoring part of it. And it wasn't so manual at that point in time. While learning about Design Space and doing that nice steep learning curve on how to work with it and how to make projects, that was our next project. So it took a couple of months until we were very comfortable with it and then started teaching others. I actually started teaching Cricut 101 for Michaels, and I would schlep my, it was an Explorer 2, down to Michael's, do all the cuts for everybody. We'd spend 3 or 4 hours in an afternoon. I'd teach them everything about Design Space and really help people elevate what they were doing. Taking that experience back, we started writing more blog articles. And I'm saying we because both of us design and work in the back end of everything that we do. We had so much fun doing that. And that continues today with putting on our workshops and our summits and everything else we do, and brainstorming and playing with different crafts. And Tika has a real brilliant mind for finding very messy crafts to work on. And it is a lot of fun. So we try to add that to what we can do with the Cricut as well. So that's kind of the long answer, but it gives you an idea of where we came from.
So part of all the crafting and messy crafts and all that, what part of that craft are you really passionate about?
I love working with paper, whether it's paper mache, paper clay, just paper itself, and coming up with some ideas on different cards to make. We even put together a card compendium that has over 75 different folds, and then we added 26 more in a companion for it. And right now I'm working on the next 50. So you want card folds or different ways to fold things, you know, this is a one place to come and look for that card compendium. Now that's interesting because it's part of our Ultimate Cricut Toolkit. So we have all kinds of little projects like that we do, but I love making different cards. 3D is the latest one, and we are putting on a 9-day countdown for our next holiday summit, and that is making a storybook card. So you'll want to find out more about that as well. So paper, for sure, paper flowers, paper cards, paper 3D objects, you name it. We love to make it with paper.
Lots and lots of paper. So when you're imagining what project you would like to create, what is your thought process and your creative process for that?
So what happens generally, I'll get inspiration by just looking at different things. Recently, I was on a cruise actually, and in their display, they had these paper objects that were shaped like fruits and wine bottles and lemonade pitchers and lemonade glasses and bowls, and they were all made out of folded paper. So I got inspired with that. I thought, how can we do that and make it very simple? Make it really elegant, yet not, you know, the professional level that this person was doing. And what I saw was over the top. I want to make it simplistic so that we can all do it in some way. So let's think about the process. We see something very unique, creative. It's an amazing, you take that thought and say, how can I do something that is similar, never the same, but similar? How can I adjust that so it's easy to make? And then I start using scrap paper and everything to start working on a design. And I do it all with scrap paper and scissors initially to see if I can put something together. And then I pull it apart to see if I can bring it into Illustrator and create something that will work. From Illustrator, then I bring it into Design Space and see what's working and what's not. So there's a lot of failure in between that idea and coming up with something that's final. So an SVG design that creates the 3D pumpkin probably takes 2 to 3 weeks to come up with. So if you're getting a free SVG and someone's worked on it, you know there's a lot of hours inside there. It's not just myself and Tika that are putting in the hours to come up with the designs and make them so that they're easy to use, but other crafters as well go through that same process. It's, you know, try it, fail, try it, fail, try it, fail, try it, fail, until, ooh, that one works, with a few more tweaks. So it's a constant tweaking, but you really have to watch out for that perfectionist thing that will creep in. No, I can't release it until it actually works. It actually works. So just little things. So that's my process. So I will put something out I know works well. And it doesn't mean it's 100% perfect. I just know it works well. So I take it through that entire process.
So what do you find the most challenging aspect of your work?
Well, this is a crafting block can be like a love-hate relationship. I love the design work. I love making stuff. I love putting them together. I love training people how to do it. I love making all the stuff in the background where we're tracking everything. And then I turn around and go, oh, I really don't like tracking. I really don't like SEO. I really don't like this. I really don't like that. So it's the challenge is making it exciting for yourself every day, even if it feels like drudgery, because you should be able to, no matter what you're doing, is try to make a smiley face for everything you're doing. I know poor Tika gets the brunt of my, I don't feel like doing this. I answer. So the challenge is getting that balance of smiling all the time as you're making things and not finding something that doesn't work and throwing it against the wall. No, we don't do that. but we start to laugh about everything. So the challenge is to be able to laugh and be cheerful about everything you're doing, no matter what it is in this crafting industry.
So what have you found to be the most rewarding aspect of your career so far?
Now, in the crafting world, when we teach people and they come up with something that they have made based on how we taught them to do it, and they show a picture for it, I'm in love with that aspect. That is the most rewarding, just having people make what we're teaching them and they are successful. So to me, our success is all based on who we teach and their success. So if they're successful, we feel more successful. So that to me is the most rewarding.
So what kind of advice would you give someone who is interested in doing what we do?
Now, this is an interesting aspect. Most people that want to get into the crafting business or a crafting blog are working on their own. Now, that's one thing you have to do when you're working on your own is make sure you have the right mindset. But that's not the only thing. The big advice is make sure you have experts that surround you. Now, that expert could be another person in your family. That expert could be a coach. You're taking their program and getting feedback, but you can't sit there and stew in your head all the time. You've got to get out there, spread the word of what you're doing, find people that are like-minded and bounce ideas. And to me, that's the biggest thing, is surrounding yourself with other experts and just little things like participating in a summit. That's a great way to get started. I know you feel that most people putting on summits don't want someone that doesn't have a list. Well, that is not true. Yes, we need people with lists, but we also need to bring other crafters up into the fold and to be able to help them along the way as well. So if you're going to do it, make sure that you are able to find other people that you can speak with, and in turn, as you get better at it, you do the same.
Well, that's great. So tell the listeners how they'll be able to contact you. Where can they find you?
Now we have almost everything we have is under Bette's Makes. So betsmakes.com is the first place to start. When you get a pop-up to get our free Cricut tips and tricks book, fill it in. You'll be on our email list, and then you'll have all the contact information you need. Even if you find us on Instagram under Bette's Makes, we use Linktree. So all of our links are in there at the same time. So that is the easiest way to do it. We try to make it simple. And of course, our YouTube channel, a fun place to be, is Bette's Makes Media. So that is the best way to get a hold of us.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Bette, for being here today. I had fun learning all about your past, and I'm sure our listeners also had a fun time. And thank you.
Okay, till next time, make sure you listen to all the episodes of the Creative Crafters podcast.
Thank you, everyone.